Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Kahzrel, and today I'm diving into something that can completely transform your experience playing Delta Force, your settings configuration. So in this video, I'll show you the best performance settings in terms of increasing your visibility, giving you a competitive advantage in the game, and trying to increase or boost your FPS. That will help you to spot enemy more clearly and just giving you advantages in gunfight. We'll look at both settings and as well the way I recommend some controls that can improve the way you play. Everything you need, this guy has you covered. Let's break it down. And so we're going to jump right into the game and we're going to go in the settings to take a look at it right away. Let's start with the graphics. So a bit of a disclaimer, there is not like a one fit all. It depends a lot of your configuration, the PC you have, and as well what you like the most. So people would like to have amazing graphics that even if they have lower FPS and the game is a bit less smooth, and other players just want the most competitive advantage. I'm lucky enough to have a decent PC, so I can have a mix of both. So what I'm going to show you is what are the settings you have to lower in what order to increase your FPSs, and then you try it and you decide. The first one, so if you go to graphics and you scroll down a little and you find the first one is shadow map. Here. Shadow map basically is most probably one of the biggest thing you can lower down to increase your FPSs. And this has minimal visual consequences. So my recommendation is to put it to low. Even if you have a good PC, this doesn't bring much value to you. The second one is the volumetric fog. Kind of similar here. You can put it to, you're gonna see some of them, I kept them at medium because I'm streaming, so I want an okay quality. But if I was not streaming, I would put everything too low. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care much. So this had what they call atmospheric fog. That looks nice, but can significantly decrease the visibility in the game of the enemies, especially when they are far. So medium or low is what I would recommend. Okay. The next one is ambient occlusion. This one, you can literally turn it off. It doesn't have to be on. This kind of create additional shadows around or underneath specific objects. And sometimes that makes it hard to spot enemies. Once again, I keep it on because it makes the game a little bit nicer. But while you're playing and you're trying to be very competitive, these things can make it hard to spot enemy in dark areas. And as well, if you have it very high, this will impact a lot your performances. So I recommend to turn it off or medium, give it a try. But off might be the best setting. If we look at, so wait, I made a list, they are all everywhere. Post-processing here. I have it medium, you can put it at low. These basically introduce what they call color fringes on the edge of the screen. Most of the competitive players, they hate that feeling of this distortion. So they just turn it off, which you can, I don't think, no, you cannot turn it off. They can put it to low. The next one are particles. In this one, if you have played with higher graphics, you might see them. Sometimes you have flying particles. When you have it at high, it had even like kind of smoked effects. You see flying numbers, you see like nice explosions, but all of that can literally obscure your vision and you're not spotting enemies. So I recommend having it low for competitiveness. Medium if you like a bit of nicer graphics, but if you want the best visibility in gunfights, put it too low. Okay, the other thing depends a lot of your configuration, the FPSs you already have, and so on. So I'm gonna go a little bit faster on that. Where's the anti-aliasing on this here? I've done some research for this because for me it's a little different, but basically they recommend to disable temporal anti-aliasing because it can make the screen blurry during movements. Some people are recommending DLSS quality presets. So if you have an NVIDIA RTX graphic card, for example, and FSR2 for AMD. I have not tried this one, so take it with a grain of salt. This is what I found on different guides. In my case, I mean, you can see here what configuration I have. It's a different presets, and basically I'm trying to find the right balance between keeping my FPS high, which I usually have at least 200, so it's pretty smooth, but as well that the viewers on the stream don't see a cubic game. So it's kind of finding the middle ground. Reflection here, that's quite interesting. It appears broken for me. I've been trying a lot of the settings and I barely see any improvement or any difference. So my recommendation would be to put it low or medium, so it lower the VRAM usage here. It doesn't really change anything. Let me know if it's different for you, but I tried almost all configurations and I could not see any differences. Texture filtering here. put it to medium. The highest settings, it kind of smooth the texture viewed at an angle, but it costs FPSs. Don't have FPS problem on my side, it makes the game nicer, so I keep it at high, but that's an easy way to get back some performances without having a lot of impact on the game. Streaming, which is here, this one is very important. Set it as high as you can. So ultimate is the highest. This adds important detail in the environment. So sometimes if you have it too low, you might not see some specific objects where enemies are hiding behind. So it's not like you can see through it. You're not going to see the enemy because there's this object in the middle. So lower setting can remove objects, hide enemies. So put it as high as you can. And from what I was testing, it doesn't change much of the performances, so it shouldn't impact you too much. Worst case, putting in ultra on extreme, but you can see it's changing quite a VRAM, but this one is quite important to have it as a very high quality. Until now I was telling you what you can lower, this one is what you should be increasing. Sharpness depends a lot of your tastes. Where is sharpness? I'll say, I think by default it's 50. I'll say something in between 50 and 90. It's all good, give it a try. For me, 70, which is the middle, is what I've liked the most so far. It's a lot of personal preferences here. But basically, it will help you to make the targets, the enemies, stand out. Okay, let's talk about the field of view. In my case, I'm playing with the largest possible field of view. Note that I have an ultra-wide screen, so I can see very widely, like a very wide point of view, field of view. This is good because you can see more things. It's bad because things are smaller. So in fights, enemies might look smaller, and they are far, they're going to be even smaller. So sometimes it's harder to spot them. I do love the very large field of view, and with that screen, it's sad to not use it, but you don't have to go all the way up to 120. Maybe something which is, I don't know, closer to 95 or 100, 105, 110, give it a try to all of that. I've been playing with very large field of views in many games, so I'm kind of used to it. But I mean, if you watch the stream, you'll see sometimes I just didn't spot someone, and that's partially the reason. Scope magnification. I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget any detail. The scope magnification. This one I'm gonna actually show to you. It's a matter of preferences. I still believe you should play it with it on. And let me show you what will be the difference. So right now I have a weapon with a scope. You see when I zoom, when I ADS, it zooms on the enemy. You see that animation? It's sometimes, for your muscle memory, if it kind of throws you out sometimes. So that animation requires you to wait for it to actually feel comfortable to do it. You see, it's pretty hard until it's fully zoomed to be super accurate. I'm going to show you, I think I have a second weapon here. Yeah. So you see, it has this zooming effect which can throw your muscle memory on your aiming off. What you can do, if you go to settings and you go to graphics and you go to here and you enable it, you're going to see the animation is very different. Let me reload. So you don't have kind of this zoom effect. You're already zooming. So it doesn't change anything on the time, but it changes a lot if you quickly remove this or ADS again. It gives less of this zoom effect. First, it's going to make you less sick, but as well, it's going to, at least in my case, it improves quite a lot the muscle memory and the quick aim on targets. So I highly recommend enabling it. Of course, it's a matter of what you prefer. You can see here, I don't have this very long zoom effect that goes all the way. It's kind of, you see it's bringing the scope, and as soon as it brought, it's already fully zooming. So highly recommend that one. Give it a try. It's very easy to enable, disable it. That's the scope magnification. Okay, this one, I don't play warfare mode. So there's literally no vehicles in operations. But when I tried it, I just put it as large as possible. And this one is very important because when you're in a vehicle, you want to see as much as possible. So I will pull the field of view in this one very large. Doesn't matter as much if things are smaller. At least that's what I believe, but I'm not an expert on that. Okay, quick things on your Windows drivers and settings. I'm not going to enter into much detail because it's quite different between an NVIDIA and an AMD graphic cards and settings. The first thing is ensure you have the latest drivers. That really makes a difference. It's going to help optimizing your FPSs and the way everything is performed and processed by your graphic card. So really be sure, do regular check of updates. It takes you only a few minutes and it makes a real difference in optimization. Now graphic cards with the software they have, like the AMD software and the NVIDIA, you have something they can game mode. In the game mode, you can optimize performances for games. For the test I've been doing on AMD, I am not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of the software, but as well, I feel it loses a lot of the control of the settings. It's trying to override my settings, and I hate it. So I don't play with it. And I haven't seen a real improvement in performances. When I was reading the equivalent of NVIDIA, it had much, much better feedback. People were much happier with the NVIDIA software and optimization of game mode than the one of AMD. I don't have an NVIDIA, so I cannot try it myself. So give it a try. But in general, I'll prefer to disable the game mode and spend time in the configuration of the game in trying to optimize it per game. That, though, could be a little different if you have old graphic cards or not a very high-performing PC, then these softwares can help you. It was my case a couple of years ago when I was playing League of Legends. I had the software, they were helping me I was playing on a very bad laptop, and it was helping me to make it a little bit better. Otherwise, my recommendation is try to avoid these graphic cards optimizations so you keep control of your configs. Okay, let's take a look at the audio settings. Not a lot to say here. You can lower the music, it's always good. The other settings are of preferences. You make sure you want to hear all the sound effects, super important. In general, I keep the master volume high, and then I change the volume of the headphones directly. You obviously want to play with headphones, especially in a game like Delta Force, where the sound is so important to spot enemies. It's your main clue. It's your main way of not being killed. And knowing someone is around. Then you have the HRTF settings, so head related transfer function. I personally tried it on and I really disliked it. I've been playing FPSs and games where you need the audio, so I'm very used to the type of basic audio. This one can have a layer on top of it, and it should be better, but for me it was counterintuitive. It didn't help me at all, and I've seen on forums that it's the same for many other players. If you want to give it a try, have it on, but my recommendation is keep it off. You can have, depending on the headphones you have, you can have software improvements. Like, I don't know, I think it's Sonar. With my headphones, I have a software which is Sonar that helps me to rebalance EQ, and it has a game mode and should improve it. I've been trying it and it threw me off quite a couple of times with the sound. So once again, similar to the graphic optimizations, I like to keep everything in configuration in the game when I have the full control and I don't have an external software dictating me what it will be. Though if you have it on all the time, it's the same across all games, then maybe you can get used to it. But knowing that you might change headphones, you might change software in the future, keeping kind of the basic game configuration for audio across all games might be better for you. At least that's the way I do it. Be careful as well sometimes, depending on the software, because it adds a layer. So you have your headphones, you have the game, and now you have software in between. It can add a little bit of delay or distortions the time they catch the audio, transform it, and send it to you. Now they are trying to be extremely optimized, and it's getting better and better, but just adding more software in between every layer. It's really a good recommendation. So if you can avoid it, avoid it. Okay, let's move to the configuration. First thing is, but I'm sure if you've been playing FPS, I don't have to tell you, checking your Windows configuration and other configurations and making sure that you remove the acceleration. It's just impossible to have constant aiming if you have mouse acceleration. So obviously that has to be off. I think there's another configuration you can find in the configuration file, which is enable mouse smoothing. Basically, you don't want anything that is smoothing your aim or anything which is accelerating your aim. You want to be extremely constant all the time. I cannot really recommend you any DPI for your mouse. It's really, really depending on your play. But there's two things that I can recommend you. It's how I picked my sensitivity and how I choose it across multiple games. So when I'm in a game, I have background in Counter-Strike, so that comes a lot of when I was playing Counter-Strike. Basically, what I want is when I do a mouse from kind of the left of the mouse pad to the right, it doesn't have to be from the extreme, but when I feel comfortable doing a lot in the game, that motion, I want to be looking in front of me and I want to be ending here exactly 180 degrees behind. So I want to constantly be able to look in front, do a U-turn, and fight that person behind me quite easily without too much effort, right? And that will be what decided my sensitivity. I will really need to do much more because if I need to here, I will go left. If I need to go here, I will go right. But I need to be able to turn back and fight. And I want to be able to do that in a motion which is comfortable, right? You don't want to go from the total left to the total right. This is how I think about it. So DPI and sensitivity. The other thing is what you want is to keep the exact same one, the feeling, in every single game you play. So you build that muscle memory, and whatever game you play, you bring that to the next game. There are a lot of websites now, if you Google it, like, I don't know, I was playing Counter-Strike, so I can Google CSGO to Delta Force sensitivity, and you have a website that's doing the exact translation for you. And that's how I ended up with this 1.25 here. So these are my tools. I'm not telling you what sensitivity you need. Some people are playing with high, some people are playing with lower, but this is mine. I like to be able to do constantly 180 degrees and being comfortable in doing it. Okay, let's look at the ADS sensitivity. So here I recommend using the MDV only. And I cannot remember what the coefficient was by default. I think it was 170 something, can be wrong. I've tried many of them. This is basically your sensitivity when you're ADSing, and you can have a different one depending on the zoom level. But I want it to be consistent, and the coefficient that seems to work the best for me was 133 or 1.33. And surprisingly, when I was doing some research, I saw that it's one of the most commonly used. So try it and let me know how it feels. This one you want as well. I think I might come back to it. I might have put it later on my notes, but this is actually quite good. It's basically this configuration allows you to, so when you have a key that allows you to change the zoom level. Do I have multiple zoom level on this one? Yes, no, I don't. But you can do it even without zooming or ADSing. This is super good. Like I can be running and I had maybe a high zoom level and I can already change it. I don't have to zoom and change it. So I recommend that configuration here. What else? What did we have here? The ADS transition here, what I was checking when I did some research, it feels the most natural when aiming. That type of transition is the one that I like the most. Same, this kind of gradually transition from your sensitivity when you're on downsides. So give it a try, let me know if you like all the other ones. But the ADS transition is the one that feels the smoothest for me. Okay, the part I'm most excited to talk about are the control settings. And this is, you're going to see that I actually play what everybody's saying on my friends. I'm playing with weird settings and key bindings, but there are a few of them that I think make a lot of sense. First one, very quickly and very simple, the hold breath, which I never remember where it is. Where is the hold breath? I knew when I was about to record the video it's going to take me. Okay, I think by default it's hold, meaning that so hold breath, I'm going to show you what it is. So when you're aiming, you see it's moving, right? I'm not moving my mouse now. It's like I'm breathing and the breath is moving the aim. If I push E, I stop breathing. And it's much more accurate. By default, it's a hold. So it means I need to keep E pressed to be able to keep it. Which in this game, it's pretty annoying. You don't want to have to keep another key knowing you have already so many keys. So I highly recommend, is it better? Here, I want to see what's the difference. Yeah, you can see it's moving. If I press E, it becomes extremely stable. So it's actually very powerful. You need to use that key, but having it on hold by default is not great. So move it to toggle here. This is number one. And I think I was reading that in some of the weapon, the hold brief reduces by almost 50% the movement. So it's actually very precise. The lean control, and that might be the most controversial bindings that I have here. The first thing is I move the lean, so leaning left, leaning right, to a hold instead of toggle. And I move them to Alt and space instead of Q and E. The reason for that is I want to be able to easily continuously move and be able to right and left lean super easily. And I'm using my thumb for that, my left thumb. So you can see, you cannot see my keyboard, but this allows me to be able to go left and right and to be able to lean on left and right without having any impact. So the fingers to move are not at all the same as leaning, because if you wanted to lean left with Q, but as well go left with A, it's a very weird combination with your finger. It's uncomfortable, it's not precise, and yeah, I don't recommend it. The second thing, I think by default in this game, you have it on toggle. So you toggle left and it stays on the left, and toggle, that's right, and toggle left and it stays on the left. Having it on hold allows you to make much faster pick. This was extremely true on some of the other games I was playing, like Arena Breakout Infinite. I like a lot how fast you can be with having it on hold instead of having it on toggle. It will require you to play and get used to it, but these movements you can do extremely quickly and really balance where you want to be. Gives you a lot of edge during the fight. So I highly recommend trying the hold instead of the toggle. And I highly recommend trying, I know it's going to be so weird at the beginning to not use Q and E, but trust me, when you start getting used to using your terms on Alt and space to do it, you're not going to come back. You can stay like this. Okay, this one is pretty obvious, is the aim. I don't know anybody who loves the toggle. Most of the games that are like this, you want to hold. So I changed the aim on hold. So basically how you're ADSing. Highly recommend that. The rescue and reviving. So if you come here and you expand this, you basically have one key to do everything. The rescue by default is holding. So meaning your teammate is down and you want to rest them, you have to keep F pressed. Sometimes you have like so many keys, you're doing so many things. Keeping F pressed is not my favorite. So what I do, I move it to toggle. So I will press F once, it will start the reviving. I will not have to worry about it. If I press it again, it will cancel it. So both work, but I felt I was more comfortable and more in control with this. This is not, it really depends a lot of your habits. If you've been playing other games when you're defusing the bomb and you're keeping the key pressed, maybe you feel more comfortable with the hold. But I wanted to let you know that it's something that you can experiment with. Okay, what else? This additional, we can do a quick view on my keys if you're curious. So nothing changed here, crouch and prone, nothing. I jump with mouse 4. So basically I jump with my mouse. And the thinking process about this is I want to do many more actions with my hand, my right hand, other than just firing. So it will free my left hand to more other movements. And in I have a Def Header, whatever V2 or something, as a mouse from Razer, and jumping has been super comfortable for me on that. I have jump or mantle, so it means the same button to jump or to try to mantle or like go on top of object. And I will come back to the configuration after. It has pros and cons. The one I was showing before, which I highly recommend. So other keys that might be interesting that I changed, let me check. I reload with the mouse as well. I reload pressing the wheel, the mouse wheel. Once again, I want to free more buttons around my left hand to do other actions and use skill. And I want my right hand to do more things than just aiming and shooting. So I reload with the mouse, I jump with the mouse, I actually open the map with the mouse. So my right hand can do all of that. And my left hand has more buttons that are closer to do other actions. Anything else that's different? Firing mode, I did not change it. Yeah, this one, the switch optic and zoom. So what I was showing you when you can change the zoom level, I'm using the key, which is on the left side of the keyboard, which is on top of the tab, and on the left of the one. It's super convenient for me because I can just have it there and do it very quickly. I don't remember what was the key by default, but I remember finding it very weird. I adopted this playing other games and I keep it here. I really like it. Open parachutes, deploy, we don't care about this. The map, well, let me come back here. We saw this, look, we saw this, nothing interesting here. This, so I open the map. So I don't know if you can see it properly. My mouse has literally 1, 2 buttons here and 2 buttons on the right. The bottom one is the one for jumping. This one is from the map. I open the map all the time in these games. You want to have context and understanding of where you are, how things are moving. Sometimes you can even see out of other teams by looking at the map. And I want to be able to open it and closing it very quickly. The M on the keyboard for me is too far. It's not convenient enough. So opening the map with that key is super convenient. I can do it at any time and close it super quickly, and it doesn't impact what I'm doing. I can do it while moving, for example. Because I don't use R for reloading, I use the mouse, I use R to ping. And actually I use Q to talk in a game. That can be weird, not especially recommending that, it's just a matter of habit. I've been doing that for a long time, so it's I'm pretty used to it. The other thing that I was saying is this one. So don't forget, this one is the one, so now that I press that key, I can change the zoom level when I'm not actually ADSing. And I think it's very powerful. The one which is a little controversial, actually, I don't remember exactly where that is. Let me find it. I think it's in game here. Automatic airborne mantle. So basically that means that when you're using the same key, I use the same key to jump and mantle on objects. And basically here, there's something to grab or to mental on, it will do it automatically. Press and hold movement key while in the air to auto mendel when possible. So this is great. For example, if you're trying to do a jump and to grab something, jump from a roof to another part of the roof, it will grab it. And most of the time it's going to be useful. There are cases, and I will put the video, I have a short video, I'll put it on screen, where I'm trying to go down in a hole and I cannot. I keep automatically mentoring. And I'm being killed because of this. So it happens rarely, but it does happen. So pros and cons, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Other interesting things, I changed the hit effect color here. I love the pink one. So basically when you hit an enemy or bot, the impact color can be changed. I think by default it's red. But the pink is so visual, you cannot miss it. I love it. Since I changed it, I know exactly how many bullets I put on every single target, even if they're extremely far, while sometimes the red wasn't as clear and as bright. That's up to preferences as well. The other thing that I did is here to enable these two. I don't remember they are by default, but put the mark item in the save box first. So you know when you have, I'm going to show you right after, when you have items and you put a start, you can say, okay, these are items that I need, and I need to remember to take them. If they are starred, then they will automatically put in your save box if you have space. And the other one, you can put a value on item. So what I put by enabling this, and I put 10,000 coins. So if I pick an item that is worth more than 10,000 and have space in my save box, it will automatically put it there. If not, it will put it in my backpack. I really like these two options. And what I was telling you, let's leave the fire range here. Here, I can click on an item and I can mark that item. And so if I find it on the game, in the game, it'll tell me that's an item that I marked and that I can remember. You know, when you have temporary quests, what I usually do, I go here, I go to supply, come on, I go here and I say, okay, this week I need to find this item and this item. So I come and I store them. So I remember these are the two items that I need to keep because they can unlock. So it's a pretty useful tool. And the last, if we go to the screen part, what did I add here? Depends on what preferences. I love to see the performances parameters. So that will display your FPSs and your ping and all the information at the top right of the screen. See if it's too annoying for you, then you can disable it. But at least when you're doing this trial to find the best possible settings, I highly recommend it. And then when it's stable and you're comfortable with it, it's a matter of preferences, whatever you like the most. This one is critical. You cannot not enable that. Maybe it's by default. If it's not, you really, really need to enable it. It's basically when you're in your backpack or you're loading and someone is shooting at you, it will close it. This is very important. It's just going to make you close things much quicker. You're not going to lose time. You're going to be able to react much faster. So these are quite important. I know for Warfare, there's a lot of optimization to do on the map. I don't play that mode, so I'm not going to have very good recommendations for this. Okay, guys, I think we'll look at a lot of the improvements. Anyways, you have everything on the screen. You can come back. You can look at what are my configurations. Let me know if you have other specific questions or other recommendations on how to improve it even further. Remember one thing, these are setting, there's not a one optimal settings for everybody. That's why I'm trying to give you inputs on how to think about it and what to try and why I recommend this or not. Now it's totally up to you to try it and decide what's the best for you. If you found this guide helpful, please hit the subscribe button. It's helping the channel a lot. You can watch the other videos. I'm trying to publish at least once a week. We have a couple of other guides coming that are specialized for operators or how to optimize your weapons or how to make more money, and as well some just general gameplay recommendations. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next extraction.